So here's a number for you. Nearly a third of U.S. adults will suffer from anxiety at some point in their lives. That's according to data from the National Comorbidity Study. And while occasional anxiety is a normal part of life, anxiety disorders involve more than temporary worry or fear. The National Institute of Mental Health says symptoms can include restlessness, fatigue, trouble concentrating, and unexplained pains. Anxiety can impact anybody. And this morning we are hearing from U.S. Representative Adam Smith, who dives into this issue and details his own struggles with mental health in a new book called Lost and Broken. Congressman, thanks for joining us. Good to have you.
Well, thanks for the chance. I appreciate it.
So the book draws on your own experience healing from chronic pain and anxiety. Can you talk about what you went through and how that influenced this book?
Yeah, well, it's just, first of all, just trying to get people to understand how to seek treatment for mental health and what's going on with you when you need to seek that. What happened with me is pretty much it was an anxiety problem and I'm a high stress person most of my life, but then a couple of times it got to the point where it was uncontrollable. I mean, I really couldn't sleep, constant feeling of basic existential fear. And I had no idea what it was and no idea what to do about it. So in my book, I sort of chronicle, how I tried to seek help, and also intermixed with it, I had chronic pain. I wound up having like two or three. I had 3 hip surgeries. But as you mentioned, anxiety and pain can go together, and figuring out how to diagnose that and get that treated was an enormous struggle for me. And so I hope in telling that story, I can hopefully help guide people to get answers to their own challenges as well.
Well, Representative, good for you for doing that. And also, it's tough as a guy, first of all, and then also a guy who's a public figure to admit, yeah, there's something going on here, and then to seek help. I mean, that's a big step.
Yeah, no, and it's really very difficult. I mean, because, the number one thing that occurred to me when this started happening to me was I have to make sure nobody finds out. Okay. So in addition to trying to treat it, I was like trying to act like everything was fine in every conceivable way that I could, which was A, very difficult, and B, it's an impediment to actually getting the treatment you need to get better. And that's the big message is You can get better. I worry sometimes that people look at anxiety and depression and mental health in general as, what are you going to do? It's there, it seems hopeless. No, there are treatments and there are people out there that can help you better understand your mind and better understand your body. You can find help. And I want to make sure people know that. You can build resilience to this and get better.
Now, in your book, you talk about the limitations of our nation's healthcare system. Can you talk about that a bit and how this information can help readers?
No, absolutely. I think that the biggest thing is our healthcare system pays for quantity, not for quality. Healthcare providers are compensated for if they see you, if they run a test, if they prescribe drugs, a whole bunch of other things. It doesn't take an approach of how you actually solve the problem, and you can go down a lot of blind alleys. I think the other big problem with our healthcare system is it is way too reliant on drugs, particularly in the mental health area. Now, I want to be clear. There are some people who have severe mental health issues, severe pain issues for that matter, and probably need medication. But too often it's the first thing. I spent a lot of time on benzodiazepines, clonazepam, which is, it'll get rid of your anxiety in the short term, but it is not a long-term solution to anxiety for the overwhelming majority of people. But because of the lack of time healthcare providers have, they don't get paid anymore if they see you for 2 minutes or they see you for 2 hours. So, it tends to be the easy approach. So we need better diagnosis and better treatment is the bottom line.
So the book is called Lost and Broken. Representative Adam Smith, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate the chance. Thank you.